You're listening to Self-Conscious with Chrissy Teigen, an Audible original podcast. Join me as we explore the cutting edge of health, wellness, and personal growth with the world's leading experts and thinkers. From inspiring stories to actionable insights, our conversations aim to help you lead a healthier, happier, and more productive life. You know that feeling when you replay something embarrassing you did 10 years ago and suddenly you're blushing in the middle of the grocery store? Yeah, Elyse Myers built an entire career out of that. She's the internet's best friend, the one who tells the awkward story first so you don't feel so alone. She's the woman who accidentally bought 100 tacos on a first date, filmed it, and turned that moment into a brand new way of being honest online. Elise's new memoir is called That's a Great Question, I'd Love to Tell You. And it's full of short stories, poems, and drawings about anxiety, motherhood, love, shame, and that tiny voice inside your head that always asks, wait, am I the weird one? What I love about Elise is she doesn't try to fix that voice. She just turns it into something funny, real, and kind. She's proof that embarrassment isn't the end of a story. It's just the beginning of connection. Today we talk about why she wrote this book for people who overthink everything, what it's like to do things scared, and how learning to laugh at yourself can be the most healing thing you do. Elyse Myers, welcome to Self-Conscious. Thank you for being here today.
I'm honored.
You live in Nebraska.
I do, yeah.
So you're on a book tour now, though.
I am, yes. I think this is my 6th or 7th stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
It's going great. There's so many people. And it's like every single place it resets. They're so kind. And I think that there's a process, too, in it where you have to learn how to not walk away from every interaction feeling like I'm now wearing your entire life on my body.
Is there something that people seem to be bringing up more than anything else?
A lot of people are fascinated with my neurodivergence. I don't explicitly outline it in the book, but they feel it, especially if they are neurodivergent. They see how afraid I am sometimes to connect to people in my story and how I would immediately just like if someone got too close, I would like run away. Like with my husband, I physically would run away from him because I could not fathom that somebody could see all of me at once and want to stay. Like that didn't make any sense to me. And so it's really special because we do like a Q&A in the tour as well as just everything in the book. It's a story of me learning to fall in love with staying alive in the place I'm in, with the person that I love that loves me all the way and is going to be here all the time no matter what. People walk up and they're just like, thank you so much for just sharing that story because I see so much of myself in it. It's scary to share those stories because you're like, is what I'm saying important and do people want to listen to it? But it really blows my mind and it makes all of that kind of worth it. So it's been really special.
Did something happen when you were younger? Like, did you get used to the thought that when something good happened, it might be taken away from you or something? Or
yeah, I think that a lot of my childhood experiences were, my brain has so much proof of that just with different things I've been through. And so when your brain has enough proof, it solidifies that and you have to unlearn it. And so I got a call that I was a New York Times bestseller, by the way. Very exciting.
Congratulations. Thank you. That's amazing.
Thank you. But in the call, I watched it back and I wanted to like cry a little because one of my first questions was, can anyone undo this? Yeah. Can anyone take this away or is this forever? And everyone kept having to say like, this is forever. Yeah. No matter what, you will always have been a New York Times bestseller. And that was when I just started to bawl because I was like, no one can take this away. I did this for myself and you can't undo it. I have a lot of experience with dealing with that trauma with bad news. Yeah. But I'm learning now that like, I'm going to have to learn how to undo that with good news, which is beautiful.
Your book is called That's a Great Question, I'd Love to Tell You, which is something you say a lot online.
Yes.
How did turning that phrase into an actual mindset help you tell your story?
What's funny, the phrase came from me wanting people to know right out of the gate what they were going to get with me. And so I would start a video of like, what's the worst date I've ever been on? That's a great question. I'd love to tell you. Because I didn't ever want to like make content where people were like waiting for a punchline that they just, then the payoff at the end was like, ugh, I wasted 3 minutes for this. I hate that feeling. But that's also very indicative of who I am as a person. It's like, I'm just going to give you way too much right at the start. If you don't like it, great. You're not my audience. Maybe we're incompatible, but like, I just don't want to waste your time. Yeah. But also, I just don't want to feel like I'm giving you a version of myself that isn't real. Yeah. And so that phrase to me is just, here's everything. Take it or leave it. And then to be able to title my book that is special because I got to tell my story in a way where it's like, it's not memoir-y. Like technically, I think it'd be considered a memoir or something like that because it's like nonfiction about my life. But you know, like when you're on a first date and you're telling people a bunch of stories about your life and you're like, I know these don't seem like they make much sense together. But then the person that you're on a date with ends up being your person forever. All of those little stories like make sense in light of them and their love for you. And like when you find your forever, you both spend the rest of your life looking backwards and being like, oh, remember this? And like now I've changed and grown so much with this. And so this book feels like I start with like, that's a great question. I'd love to tell you. Here's everything I am. And then random stories. And then the last half of the book is how I found my husband and callbacks to all the stories in the beginning of the book.
So tell me how you met Jonas then. Where did he grow up?
We met in Australia. So we were going to school in Australia, same school, separate campuses. So we would have never come across each other because like it was like 45 minutes away, but you didn't have cars. So
where in Australia?
Sydney, Australia. I missed my train. I had to have a friend drive me. And I also left my dinner at home. And so we had to stop into a grocery store.
Yeah.
And so my dinner, I went to a meat counter and I was ordering like a kilo of roast beef and like an entire bag of cashews. And I was going to eat all of them. And that was my dinner. And my friend that I was with ended up having two friends walk up and they started talking. And me and this guy named Jonas was across from me. And we were just talking in front of meat.
And he's like, that's a lot of roast beef.
Yeah, well, kind of. I was like, this is a lot of roast beef. And I didn't feel self-conscious about this at all until this man walked up and we were talking. And he's like, I'm like, what are you getting? He's like, salami. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, what are you making? He's like, pasta salad. I forgot the most important ingredient of pasta salad. And I was like, isn't the most important ingredient the pasta? He's like, no, the pasta's a given. The salami is what makes it special. And I was like... So the thing is, I was dating someone at the time. And so the only thing I remembered that was like so beautiful about that interaction, because I was actively trying to not clock it as anything special, you know? He was wearing what I call house clothes, but like clothes that you wear when you go home, but they're not pajamas, that kind of vibe. And I had just gotten done off of a break where I wear house clothes everywhere. Yeah. And I got made fun of in the grocery store because people apparently had this like weird thing with fashion where it's like, just because I can dress nice doesn't mean I have to. I'm just running to go to the grocery store. And so I loved that he like was himself. And I just kept thinking about that.
He's American though.
He's American. He's from Kansas. Yeah. Okay. But he walked away with his friend and I walked away with mine. And his friend goes, geez, why don't you like marry her already? And he goes, maybe I will.
Oh.
And then he looked me up and I had a boyfriend. But one of the stories in the book is called Maybe I Will. And it's how it loops around to like, I didn't know that interaction happened. And I was like, again, looping back to like, every good thing that happens, I've tried to run away from it. I drove 12 hours. We were long distance to see him. Then I see him finally in the parking lot and I start running away. My brain just short-circuited and was like, this is actually, no, you should just be afraid of this. Yeah. I ran away. He picks me up, puts me over his shoulder and walks me back to my car. He's like, you can go back home if you want, but I'm not going to let you run into a field of mice. Like, that's not going to happen. And I'm like, I just don't understand. Like, how are you so sure about me? We've only known me for like 5 seconds. Like, how do you know? How do you know? And he's like, do you want to know what I said immediately after I met you, before I found out you had a boyfriend? And he explained. And he's like, I tried so many people in my mind. And like, none of them were worth wanting to spend the rest of my life with. And he's like, as soon as my friend was like, marry her already, he was like, maybe I will. And like, how are you so sure? And from the moment I met him, he's like not aggressive, but like, I will keep being here until you tell me not to be. I'm not going to let you ruin this for yourself because I know you're happy in this, but tell me the word and I'll go. So I broke up with my boyfriend 4 or 5 months after that. And then we went 6 months without seeing each other. We were doing this conference together where all the students volunteer. And he had gone on online to message me about conference or something. And he saw I was single. Yeah. And then he immediately was like, it's on. So he asked me on a date at some point if like we got some time off, we could go to a little coffee shop next to the venue. And it never ended up working out. And he goes, well, maybe you can just move to Omaha then. And I go, yeah, maybe. And by the way, that screenshot's hanging in our home in Omaha right now. But we ended up going our separate ways. He went to Paris for 4 weeks. And like, we're not dating. We're just like, he just got my number and he just kept FaceTiming me. We FaceTimed the whole time he was in Europe. I went home to California.
What was he studying?
It was kind of like a Christian school at the time. So I think he was like pastoral ministry and I was doing songwriting. But he's an incredible musician and vocalist. Like, oh my gosh, his voice is just
amazing.
Butter. I love it. He went back to Kansas then after Europe. I went to California, then moved to Texas. And then we did long distance there. And that was that 12-hour drive. We would do that for a bit. Turns out I hated school, was bad at it, dropped out and moved to Omaha. Yeah. It wasn't like a boy or school thing. It's just like, I know I don't want to do this. And so I'm not going to delay being with you any longer. And I can figure this out when I get there. We were engaged that weekend and married 6 months later.
Wait, how long after you started dating were you engaged?
6 months and then married 6 months after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You've said those living with ADHD and anxiety shape how you see the world. How do those experiences show up in your writing?
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's like laced into every sentence.
When were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed at 16.
Okay.
I was in inpatient rehab for an eating disorder when I was like young, like high school, like sophomore year. I spent like the last few months of my sophomore year in this facility, but I didn't know at the time I was like neurodivergent as well. And so when I was going into the outpatient kind of, you kind of like taper off and you get integrated back into your normal life. I had a psychologist who was like, I know this is going to kind of seem out of left field, but have you ever tested your daughter for ADHD? And this was back before like people, it was like no one talked about this. Girls like didn't have ADHD kind of a thing. Like it was just harder to diagnose. It just wasn't. And my family was like, no. And I obviously was like heavy on the H, like very hyperactive, I was. But he goes, I know it's hard because she is coming out of this treatment, but I think that a small stimulant will change her life radically. And so I got diagnosed and off the charts with the scores, you know, and I got medicated and my entire life changed. It was like for the very first time, everything was quiet and I could like focus on a conversation. Like I can sit here with you and your voice is louder than the 20,000 in my head. They're not gone, but like, I can hear you and I can ask you questions and I can listen and remember. And I just remember thinking like, I'm not stupid. I'm failing school, but not because I can't figure it out. I am not the problem here. I just am in a system that is not built for me and around me.
Was it hard for you to retain information? Like it would just like in and out?
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of like the same of like, the information like a rock skipping on the top of water, like it touched my brain, but didn't sink. So I could remember things short term, but I felt constantly forgetful. I would study so hard. I would like stay up all night studying and I would be like falling asleep on my desk the next day. People thought I was lazy and that I just should, I just wasn't smart, like all of it. And I just realized that it wasn't my fault. It wasn't for lack of trying. It made me angry. I think too, when I got diagnosed as autistic a couple years ago, like, how did anyone miss this? It was your job not to miss this. It was actually, that's your only job. And I know that as a parent, I don't want to put any shame on my parents. It's just like, I'm trying to do everything I possibly can for my kiddos. Let me give you every resource I possibly can so that you know yourself well and that your life can be designed around you to where you win. I just want that for you so badly. All of those diagnoses kind of made me look back and it's like, man, I didn't have what I needed in that way. And it made me like sad for younger Elise, but also so thrilled that now like I can make those decisions and change my life around me and be medicated and get all those tools to help me going forward.
How old are your boys?
Almost 5, but 4 and 2.
Oh,
yeah.
I have a 2-year-old downstairs.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't 2 the best?
Really?
No, I think it's the yummiest best age. I love you though for saying that. I know I'm rare in loving that age.
Well, the twos, it's like my 2-year-old is a different case. He had open heart surgery when he was 4 months old. It was like a whole thing. Gosh. He's as if nothing was ever wrong now. But we found a heart murmur when he was 4 months, so he had to be on a medication every 4 hours. So we'd have to wake him up in the middle of the night. Like,
oh my gosh!
For like a literal year, we were like just every 4 hours.
When something like that happens to you, are you like me where you try to like lead with humor and like, oh God, of course this happened to us? And,
usually that's kind of how I would do it, but there was no way to make it funny, which I really struggled with. And I mean, you can with your own person, like Jonas and I found humor in little moments like that, but mostly I was just scared.
That's your bubba. That's your baby.
Totally. And so I retreated, to be honest. I took a break online. I stopped posting. I took all my stuff online.
Did you lose your creativity because you felt like probably so much of your brain was being dedicated to your son at that point?
I think it's very hard to be creative when you're in a place of fear.
Yeah.
But I was already working on my book when this happened. I was 5 months pregnant when I sold the book, and I was writing the manuscript for it. And then I had to pull away. And I remember writing this book on my iPhone while Oliver was healing. So I had just finished. This is not going to be a sentimental answer.
It's great. Even better.
Okay, so there's a story in the book where I accidentally made friends with a male prostitute in Paris. And I thought I had picked up...
For some reason, I was like, neo-Nazi. The immediate thing that I thought, but male prostitute's better.
Yeah, I was at a bar and this man walks up, he's like, do you want some company? And I was like, yes. And I didn't realize that specific bar with that specific phrase with someone like me that was younger and like a college student is like the perfect recipe for like, I'm going to take you home now. Yes.
Yeah. What did he look like?
Okay.
Was he hot?
Yes.
Okay.
White button. I call him White Button Up in the story, but he had like a waxed chest, like buttoned down to his like second row of abs.
Yeah.
He looked like Princess Ariel. Sorry, Little Mermaid's the guy.
Yeah.
Eric or Prince Eric or something, whatever. He looked like that.
Oh my
100%.
God.
Like at that point, the most beautiful human being, like a model. So I was writing to the point where basically the point where we left the bar onwards was when I was in the hospital kind of finishing that story.
Yeah.
And you know how like I wrote this like guide because there's a lot of illustrations in it because I'm a very visual person. And so I wanted to show in my brain what was happening when the moment was happening where like, you know, when you have those glances, there's like videos about it, but like girls have glances, right? Where it's like, one's like, save me.
Yeah.
One's like,
yes.
One's like, this is very good. Don't interrupt me. And one's like, we're going to talk about this later.
Yeah.
I like drew out this comprehensive guide of glances with the images and what they mean and different little like micro expressions while my son's like healing from open heart surgery and my husband's across from me going, that's so funny. Do that. Yes, that's really good. And it was like, it was just this lightness I really needed. But
in
also,
that moment, I was just going to say.
It was really fun. Yeah, that was kind of what I was doing at the time.
Wait, are you fluent in French?
No, I used to be. Not anymore. I let it go after that.
Unpack this male sex worker.
I wish I could.
That we have to say now.
I wish I could. So I was sitting at the bar. He comes up next to me and he goes, would you like any company? And I go, I would. From you, yes, I would.
Yeah.
And we had a group of friends that were together. And meanwhile...
Was he French or was
French.
he?
Yes.
Because in my mind, he's like this Romanian dude. I watched a lot of 90 Day Fiancé.
Oh, yes.
So I learned about
French.
the types that
French, but like also like spoke English, but like didn't know, obviously knew I spoke English, but started in French. And I was like trying to have this like very light conversation. I was like, I wish I would have studied more. Like this is like when I would want to know French. So he like transitioned into English. And then I realized all my friends are like about to be blackout because like you didn't have enough money. So it's like either you drank or you ate.
You had friends there though.
Well, yeah, we were all in a cohort. So like all of us were at this bar. That's why the glances thing comes into play. But like, so we're at this bar. My friends are like, we need food. So there's like a pizza place next to it. I didn't have money to pay for the pizza, but I didn't also want him to know I didn't have money to pay for this pizza.
And are you expected to pay for him? Like if you wanted the company, like do you already start having to pay?
Well, I don't know because I don't know he's an escort yet. And so I'm just like trying to figure out how to not be embarrassed in front of this very beautiful man that probably has enough money to pay for a pizza. And he like ends up buying me a piece. And I was like, he likes me. Like this is a date? And so then we all like are walking back to the dorm and all of our friends are up in the front and I'm like talking to him and it was like successful interaction with the opposite sex that I usually don't have. And I was so proud of myself and I was like, maybe I did just need to run away to another country to become a new person, right? I ramble on about how he kind of reminds me of a Ken doll. And then and I'm like, do you even know what a Ken doll is? I'll show you. So I go to get my phone out of my pocket, but I'm like, word vomit, like avalanche. Like I cannot stop it. And I know the only thing that's going to stop it is like pulling out my phone and changing the statement. Like, here's a Ken doll. He like tries to stop me because I think he's at this point like, this is a lot.
You're back at the dorms now?
We're still walking. Okay. Yeah. He like puts his hand on my hand to like stop me from pulling my phone out to like continue this line of thinking. And then he kind of like holds it or like, I don't know, maybe I held it thinking he was holding my hand. I honestly, that's probably what it was, but he like stays holding my hand. And I was like, I'm not crazy. I'm not making this up. Like he likes me.
Oh my gosh.
And he goes, do you want to pay like now or later?
You haven't even done anything.
I was like, I'm going to pay you back for the pizza when I get to the room, dude. We've already talked about this. Like I already told you I'm going to pay you back for the pizza. And he goes, no, for the sex. And I go, what do you mean? What do you mean? And so in the book, there's 2 full pages of me just saying, oh my God, that increasingly gets larger in size because I realized, and all my friends now, so we were like separate, but now we're waiting at this light. So we're all like right there. And I immediately understand what's happening. And I just go like, there's been a misunderstanding.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He's like, there's no misunderstanding. I ask you if you want company. You say yes. You say you'll pay me in the room. I walk you back. There's no misunderstanding. I missed so many, like many context clues. And he like spits on not on me, but he like takes a big, like he spits to the left. I felt bad I wasted his time. I'm genuinely so apologetic. He really went all in on this.
Yeah.
If I had money in my pocket, I would have paid him only because I like felt so bad.
For wasting
Yes.
time.
You're a valuable human being. Like you could be making money. And how am I to do this, like steal this from you?
How much would it be if you had money to do everything you did without sex? Like just for a night of pizza?
We would have to call him. I don't know. I feel like people would do that.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've seen Pretty Woman. I think what was it?
Oh God, yeah, just for the
100
company.
an hour and like 300 for the night. It was.
Yeah.
I just watched it.
A lot of dudes just want the company.
Honestly,
And apparently
it
women
makes sense. I love company. This was also 2011, so it
my
would have
God.
probably. I mean, I hope his rates are higher than they
So then
were
you're
in
just like,
2011.
bye.
No, yeah. So he like turns, spits, walks away, and my roommate turns into me, which makes me just want to die. She was like, "We all thought you knew."
Oh
No,
no,
but listen-
they all knew.
Listen, the last stop I did in St. Louis, a girl in my cohort in Paris, like in my group, was in the audience.
Oh my
And she randomly
gosh.
got selected to do a Q&A. She stands up and I leap.
Oh my God.
I leapt off the stage and I'm like, Taylor? and she in the mic, she goes, if anyone's wondering, this is a completely true story.
Oh my God.
And she went back the next night, ended up in a worse situation. Anyways, so she was like, yeah, we all thought you knew. And I just immediately vomited. I just
my
was like
God.
so embarrassed. Great news. I've never made that mistake again. And the last line of that story is like, we updated the list of glances just to make sure.
Oh my gosh.
So that's like one of the first stories in the book.
I guess it's true. Like, who says the word company much?
Like even where I was sitting at the bar, it was a whole thing. I just happened to slide into on accident. Looking back, I totally
any
missed
man,
it.
if this were a woman, it would be totally different.
Yeah.
We're not approached by men like this.
Not like
ever.
that. No, I mean,
No.
I had never, I mean, maybe I have been and I just didn't know it. I missed so many things.
You often say, I do things scared. So when something really terrifies you, what's your first step in doing it anyway?
I learned in the process of getting my license, and like after I got my license, I would be afraid to get on the freeway because I would be afraid I'd have a panic attack on the freeway and kill people around me. This was like, of course,
fair.
naturally. It took me forever to get places. It changed how I got to work. It was horrible. I had a therapist that literally took me on the freeway and said, okay, now let yourself have a panic attack. And I'm like in the car and he goes, I'm right here. If anything happens, I can grab the wheel. You're going to be okay. Go all the way to the left lane and have a panic attack.
Exposure therapy.
And I did. And then I let myself go. And then he goes, okay, now what we're going to do is you're going to turn. And he walked me through every step of how to get off the freeway. I parked into a Carl's Jr. parking lot. And he's like, take your time now and close out whatever you need to do. If you need my help, great. And I just stopped my panic attack, wrapped it up. And he goes, you didn't die? My brain just like needed that proof that like I can physically be having a panic attack and also physically navigate myself off of the freeway.
Yeah.
And I can do both at the same time.
Yeah.
That was a huge shift for me of like, I can do it while being scared. Not that I should all the time. I would love to not have a panic attack. And also I don't always have to be scared of everything.
What do your
but,
panic attacks look like?
I mean, they feel like I'm dying, like a heart attack. I hyperventilate and I get really hot and I can't like breathe. I can't take a deep breath. Like a lot of the time it's like I'll hold my breath because I can't physically push out or pull air in. And I always know they're coming. I get like, I call like sand eyes where it looks like almost like that feeling when you're about to pass out, but it's like black, green sand.
Yeah.
So now when I know it, I mean, in college, I used to know it would happen. I'd walk up to someone and say, I'm going to have a panic attack. My brain's going to convince me that I'm going to have like a stroke, a seizure, or a heart attack. I know I'm not going to, but I'm going to sit with you because you have a phone. And if anything happens, I know you can call 911, which you have to do that with a very select few people, because if you do that to a stranger, they would call 911 pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
I would, just
They're
in
like,
case.
that's what this means.
Yeah. But it just helped me know that like, okay, there's people that even if all those, the worst case scenario was like happening, they could get me out of it. I've been dealing with that since I was little. So now I know what it looks like and it's okay. Especially with my new job, like I'm afraid of performing, and this book tour, I'm literally in almost every night in a different crowd of like either, 350 to like 1,600 people in a room. And I'm terrified, but I know that me being scared doesn't negate how excited I am as well.
Yeah.
And like, I try and do the like, you're not anxious, you're excited. Your brain just doesn't know the difference, It works sometimes, but it's also a lie sometimes. Yeah. And so I think that doing it scared was a really cool model for me, because when somebody has crippling anxiety in any form, you often feel like you're like, I kind of am disqualified. Like I can get only so far and I have to be okay with that. And that's just like not true.
Yeah.
But it also doesn't put you in a situation where you have to fix it before you can do new things.
Yeah.
Like you can actually be actively healing and still do the things you want to do. You have to kind of adjust and do it a little differently, but you're not disqualified at all.
And that feeling of pride after is just
totally
like so immense and so
it means so
intense.
much. Even like to look back on what I've done in this tour, like, man, if no one showed up, I would still be so proud of myself. Like,
yeah, that's awesome.
It's just cool. There's so many moments where I get to like do it for myself, 13-year-old Elise, and my kids.
Would you have been able to tell yourself 10 years ago that would you be able to say out loud, like, I'm so proud of myself? Were you that kind of kid? No.
You would not know the person I was 10 years ago. She'd be sitting here and you would have no clue they're the same person. Not even a little bit. Yeah.
Why?
I have worked really hard at undoing the hurt and the trauma and the like hurt that other people just gave me because they were hurt. And once I got serious about healing and not waiting to feel better, and also like not waiting for anyone to like apologize for all of those things that like from when I was younger, and just stuff, being alive is hard. When I realized nothing's going to change if I don't change it, and I'm going to lose everyone I love around me because I just can't get to a place where I can like see that I'm valuable and I'm like worth taking space up. And I just got tired of feeling that way. I don't want to live the rest of my life like this. And when I met Jonas, it wasn't like Jonas healed me. It was that for the first time in my life, I had this person staring at me and like, I'm always going to love you. I am never going to leave you. And if I never changed anything about myself from here on out, I knew he meant that. But it was that radical, complete, overwhelming love from this person. I believed him when he said this. It made me want to see myself the way that he saw me. And I really wanted that. And he stuck with it. And like, man, his patience and like my brain is rewired to hear his encouragement. So like when even like I have a bracelet and it says, it's all good, buddy. Because like we say that when things are going really, really good and also really, really bad. And I hear that in his voice when things are going to shit. It's all good, buddy. Yeah. Cause that's I don't know. It's like what I'd say to my son, like, we're going to fix it. We'll figure it out. Yeah. Nothing is like unfixable, And so it was that introduction to a love I had never really experienced before that made me want to feel that about myself. And now I do, which is really cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
You often show the nervous parts of your process, not just the finished work. Why do you think people need to see that side as well?
Oh my gosh, because as a creative person, 90% of it is you convincing yourself this is the worst thing I've ever made and I'm really bad at my job. If more people shared the part where they're like breaking down and they're just like, I don't think I'm ever going to have a good idea ever again. All of my best work is behind me. I think that process wouldn't feel so terrifying when you experience it. I think that it would be more of this conscious thought of like, oh, we've reached that part of the process now. And because I've been able to understand that about myself, I know that's when I'm like real close to the best part of it. And so it's really important to me. And also I just love watching my favorite things be made, like the How It's Made show.
Yes, same.
Like, I want to see all of it.
Factories,
everything. I want to see
the
behind the scenes. I want to see the bloopers of a show. I want to see that show. I want to see like behind the scenes of a making of an album, like all of the special features on a DVD. I want to see all of it. And I think the beautiful thing about being a creative person is you go from nothing to something. And there had to be steps that happened along the way. And most of those look like solving problems.
You've before said your goal is to make people feel known, feel loved, and like they belong. What is one message from a reader where you were like, I did that?
The question and answers on this book tour have been beautiful. It's the best part of the whole night. People stand up and like share either themselves or someone they know, like me knowing myself, then me sharing myself with the world has allowed them to know themselves better. And like, man, little Elise felt so alone. Like if I could have just had one person be like, hey, I do that too. I go to save myself so much time and like self-hatred. And to watch people stand up, like anytime there's a younger person in the crowd, I will like force the person with the mic to go to that person. And like I've had so many 16-year-olds stand up and go, how do I make it through school? I'm not doing good. And I will take every opportunity. I will spend the rest of this Q&A sitting on the stage and looking at them and be like, you are not the problem. You are just not in a school system built for neurodivergent people. So what do we need to do to like add things in your life to make this work for you? Because this is not a you thing. This is a system thing. I've just had a lot of feedback like that. And it means so, so, so much to me that people open up to me in that way, because I just see myself in them. And for them to see themselves in me is really cool.
It's so hard to see out of that hole when you're a young person
Totally.
too. They just like, you just got to have blind faith. You've found out so much about yourself at such a young age. That's really amazing.
Yeah, I
like
had
the way
to.
that you need to work and the way that you need to operate. Like so many people are becoming interested in learning that about themselves. I don't talk to many people that know what works for them and are able to talk about it. Yeah.
I realized I wasn't going to get that from anybody else. I had so many people tell me that like, yeah, when I was younger, I wasn't smart and I was lazy and all of that. And I found that I wasn't. And when I got that ADHD diagnosis, it wasn't like a conscious, like, I have ADHD now, so I'm going to design my life for somebody with ADHD. Like that was never that conscious decision, but I have like a treadmill desk because I know I would pace in my house. I would hold my laptop up. I was a coder, so web developer, and I would code with one hand and pace up in my like 600 square foot apartment living room. Like, and then I realized, you know what? If I had two hands, I could work twice as fast. So then I built myself like a treadmill desk.
Wow.
So I started doing that. And then I learned like little things over time because the treadmill desk honestly was the first thing where I was like, I can make my life work for me.
I really appreciate people that make choices to figure out how to make it work for them.
I know that about myself, like I can't make too many decisions. Like, so that's like the thing is like, I just have to make a decision and like, that's the decision forever.
Yeah.
But also now that I have a family, it's not even like about myself. It's like, I am the best person I possibly can be for my family when I have a life at home or my job that works for me. And so like I have a separate space knowing that I'm not going to be then angry at my family because they're interrupting me, which as they should. A 2-year-old should be as loud as he wants to be. Yeah. So now we have a separate space where it doesn't, if someone looked at it, they're like, you have an entire separate house to work out of. I do because what I do is very unique. And so our life looks unique. What I'm wearing right now is my press outfit. Every single interview I've done on this entire book tour has been in this outfit.
We are so similar. I literally got excited.
It looks like I did all these in the same day. The compilation is crazy.
So much of my life was so simplified when I started wearing the same bra top, the same leggings, the same overshirt.
I'm a cartoon character.
Yep. Like it's just one less thing to have to think about. And I'm not kidding. I wear it every fucking day.
Right. I know. Even food, I eat one meal at a time for months.
I like to eat, period. And I probably have like 6 meals a day. And 2 of them are usually the same meal.
I love that.
Every day.
I just find that that's like so many choices. Like I feel like if you give me that many choices, I'm just going to not. and then I forget to eat and then I have a headache. And so I've learned that if I eat, I literally will do this thing where I pick one meal and that is the only meal I eat for months at a time.
Yeah?
Like,
okay, I need to know.
I've been on this for like 5 months at this point.
Okay.
Every time I explain it, people are like, it's still going. Oh, okay, cool. So it's like a yellow or an orange bell pepper and I cut it into thirds, clean it out. And then I smear.
Wait, I thought you were going to say like chicken and rice.
Nope. It's a process, but it's like meditative for me.
Okay.
And like I don't pre-chop anything. I do this every single time I come home, which is like, it helps me kind of transition also out of work. So I quarters of bell peppers. It's like a bell pepper stack of stuff. So I put cream cheese on the inside. And then I do a piece of sharp, like a half a slice of sharp cheddar cheese, 3 slices of roasted turkey. And then I do smashed avocado.
Is this lunch?
This is lunch and dinner.
It's dinner too?
Yeah. When I say the only meal, I mean, I'm not eating anything outside of this.
Okay, keep going.
So then turkey, smashed avocado, basil. If I have leftover bell peppers from the top, I'll chop that up real thin on top. The thinnest slices of cucumber, like flexy cucumber. Then I do salt and pepper, oil and vinegar, and then pepper flakes.
Okay.
And then they're just these gigantic stacks.
Okay.
3 of them.
Do you bake it?
No. You don't like raw bell pepper?
No, that's like, I just had this conversation yesterday. The only raw food I don't like is bell pepper.
I love raw bell pepper. I love green raw bell pepper, but the yellow or the orange or the red gives like just a better flavor overall.
When you make this meal, are you thinking about dietary restrictions? Like, oh, this is carb free or this is that?
Well, I generally eat pretty low carb just to keep my blood sugar really steady.
Yeah.
So that's kind of anything I eat is going to be geared, not everything. It's not like I can't have carbs. Yeah. It's just I pace it out or else I get a really bad crash and then I'll fall into a depressive episode pretty fast. My mental health is better when I monitor my sugar. So I stay off my depression and anxiety meds by monitoring my blood sugar.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
I'm also very disconnected from my body a lot. And so it helps me realize when I'm on tour.
Are you the same person?
It helps me realize, like, why am I about to pass out?
So as someone that also feels very disconnected from her body, why do you think you are?
Well, I think it's very helpful sometimes because I get very overstimulated in situations. And there's aspects of my job that I truly couldn't do if I wasn't good at disassociating, which is not a good thing to be able to do, but I can use it as a tool in my life and make it work. And so I think because of that, I'm very good at slipping in and out of consciousness.
Yeah.
And I'm very disconnected because if not, like, it's just too much. I can't all the time. And so sometimes I forget to like slip back in to myself. And then it can kind of cause problems where I'm a runner as well. And so that meditative, like I could straight up run 25 straight miles because I can just leave my body.
Yeah.
And which is great when you want to do that.
Yeah.
Bad when you're not meaning to. And then all of a sudden, like now I'm 32 and my knees sound like what? Mm-hmm. You hear that?
No, I do.
I ran in Converse because I just didn't know my ankles were bleeding. So it's like, it's a lot of that. And so I found that any kind of little things I can use that can force me back into my body, like the glucose monitor and things like that.
Wow.
I'm not a person that's going to naturally gravitate towards like meditation. I want to,
same.
but it's like, if it's not immediately in front of me, it doesn't exist. So unless I'm like being dragged to a class where it's like, we're going to do yoga now.
Yes.
Like, I just won't remember to do it. And then I'll wonder why I have a raging migraine. And it's like, I haven't had a sip of water in 14 hours and I haven't peed and I haven't eaten. And so tools like this are really, really helpful.
That's so interesting because you're probably like me where we feel everything real very, very deeply.
Right.
So disconnecting is just like kind of, it's a survival
Correct,
thing.
yeah.
I wonder if I'd be good at running then if I thought of it in that way.
It's great.
Or working out in general. Like,
I'm not
okay,
a good
this
workout,
is me.
but running is like very, very meditative for me. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I can't.
No?
Not at all. You do marathons and stuff?
No, well, I mean, technically, if you were to look at the miles I run and walk in a day, yes. But I did one because someone told me I couldn't. Because I only wore Converse and I was with like one of my older brother's friends. I don't remember who this was. It was an older male figure that was important to me in some time because he was important to another person in my family. I don't remember. He was doing a marathon. And I was like, I feel like I could do that.
Wow.
And to a young, like, what was I? 17-year-old girl, he goes, it's hard. It's a lot.
Oh,
instead of immediately being like, I'm sure you could.
Yeah.
Why would that not be his initial reaction?
Yeah.
I go, and I was like, nah, how hard could it be? I probably could do it. In fact, I could probably do it in Converse. So I just signed up
you
for
like Spite ran. I love that. I love Spite.
Yes, I did.
That's
I signed up for my
emotion.
local marathon, no training. I was an absolute wreck at the end of it. Like I slept, I think, for like 24 hours
training.
after. I called out of work the next day. But in Converse,
Wait, what city?
Long Beach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I got all the things at the end, all the treats and the blanket. Like I truly was probably one of the stupidest things I've ever done in my life. But like, that is very indicative of my personality.
I wonder how many people just go cold into a marathon. Like, just
so many, but they don't make it to the end. Like they quit. They're like, this was like stupid. Why did I do this?
There's so many videos right now going around because so many marathons just happen.
The New York Marathon.
Yeah, people staying until like the 12th hour. And they're just like, I get emotional.
I have to save them for later. I was on my way to something this morning I did for like another press thing. And for some reason, my Instagram today was like, girl, you're going to cry today.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to make you cry. And I'm like, I literally can't. I'm about to go on live television, like saving it for later. Like when you need to cry, just like watch these.
It's so beautiful,
They're so pretty. Oh,
it's
even the
so
people's
amazing.
legs, like.
Oh, giving out completely. Just like, I know.
So many metaphors. I mean, one thing about me is I'm probably going to relate everything back to running. I'm not even like that much of a runner, but the idea of your body and your brain working together and your brain being stronger than your body. And then literally like sometimes it isn't, like your body will just give out. Like I use like marathon metaphors so often. So when I see videos like that, I just am like, I don't get that point, that runner's high that people get to where you're just floating. Well, I've never attempted it, but it's so magical. I think
really?
I think too, it takes us, for me with my neurodivergence, I think my brain is constantly looking for I can hyper focus in things that I get locked in. I can easily lock in, which is great when you want to do that. Bad when you have a family, you're not interruptible. Yeah. And you have to, my best rhythm of work is 12 hours. So I need about 12 hours to really feel like I can settle into what I'm doing and then finish something. But then I'm like, I really need to know what something's going to be like. I struggle so much with not being able to picture it. Like even doing something like in here where I can't Google the studio. Like I can't just Google the inside of your house, right? It's like, thank God I can't. But like, it helps me to be able to picture so that I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk in the door. And like, I don't know. It's just really helpful.
I think you're the diagnosed version of me. That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it is diagnosed crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, am I going to spend the rest of my life being embarrassed by this? Or am I just going to use it? Am I going to just be like, okay, if I crave this every meal, but I'm not eating it because I just don't want to be the person that eats the same meal every day, that's such a waste of my time.
How freeing to finally do what the fuck you want.
It's a waste of my time.
Elyse Myers, I want to thank you for joining me today on Self-Conscious. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Elyse, I want to thank you for joining me today on Self-Conscious. Elyse Myers, That's a Great Question, I'd Love to Tell You, is available on Audible. Until then, tune in, turn on, and feel better. This is Chrissy Teigen, and you've been listening to Self-Conscious, an Audible original podcast. This has been an Audible original, produced by Audible, Q Code, and Huntley Productions. Hosted by Chrissy Teigen, written and executive produced by Jimmy Jelinek. Executive producers for Q Code, Shin Yun Hu and Alexa Gabrielle Ramirez. Executive producer for Huntley Productions, Chrissy Teigen. Executive producer for Audible, Stacey Creamer. Recorded and engineered by Ben Milchev. Filmed by Bridger Clements. Production coordinator, Brian Coulter. Edited, mixed, and mastered by Ben Milchev. Head of Creative Development at Audible, Kate Navin. Chief Content Officer, Rachel Giazza. Copyright 2024 by Audible Originals, LLC. Sound recording copyright 2025 by Audible Originals, LLC.